Alrighty, let us start the stream. Kind of an impromptu Sunday night stream to make up for the fact that I wasn't able to do Monday night. Um, if you're online, welcome. If you drop into the chat, say hi. That'd be great. Let's thank the patrons. Teamwork makes the dream work, and you guys keep the lights on here, which is really nice. I'm always sure that. Plus, it just feels good to know that you guys are out there pulling for me. Sorry, my cables are all wrapped up and stuff. Kind of last minute thing here. Okay. So without further ado, let's go and get started. I don't have a strong plan tonight. Let's bring down my little pop-out dashboard. We'll see who. It says I have 2 concurrent viewers, but we'll see if that's real. All right. Let's pop this down here where I can see the little stats down there. We've got our chat window up here. I'll say hello just so it shows up. Hey Jeremy, nice to see you. Okay, I think I still have a whiteboard open from before. Let's close that. We don't need to see that. So I'm basically just finding these to-do tasks that are still left. We're getting down to the end, and some of these are not even going to make it into the release, but bugs I'm trying to actually, in fact, that bug I can go ahead and move off. I don't really care. 657. So this is how I do that. I find a bug here, so 657's here, and I say, we're not going to do it for this one. We'll try it for the fall. And then I can come over here and I can say refresh, and that's one less bug to deal with. I also think I'm going to push off the Gafen shadow. It was just something I noticed. Let me show you what I mean. So yeah, we got 3. Hey, Romcram, nice to see you. I'm glad you guys could make it on Sunday night. I'm sorry I wasn't able to do it Friday night. I had a high school musical I was going to, Footloose. Okay, summer program kind of thing. And I will be doing that this coming Friday too. I'm going to try to do a live stream on Thursday. But I'll go ahead and log into the game here real quick and I'll show you what I've been doing. Probably some things I've forgotten too. Come on. Okay. So we're playing Jenny 2. But I did some work on the map. It's not real pretty yet, but it's getting there. Okay, come on. So let's go ahead and make it daytime. Noon seems daytime enough. Okay. So what I did, so we've got all those caves and stuff, and you can actually turn those off. And then just see. So now when players play strongholds, they get shown up too. If you have it remains to be seen if this version of the engine will still work with existing worlds, but if you have an existing world with existing strongholds, you should be able to just move one of their markers and it'll show up on the map. But anyway, what I came to do here is, so the other thing is I fixed a lot of the state management in the actions, so it won't, you can equip something or you can unequip it. You can't, it used to say all the menus had the same items regardless of the state of the object. And that's no longer true. It knows whether it's equipped or not. Basically, actions can have conditions now and so on. Is this the test one? Yeah, so we should be able to grab this. And I'll see if I can show you what I'm talking about by placing a... you see how his shadow is long and skinny. On the snow, it gets rid of most of the shadow, so it's not as obvious. But his shadow's wide instead of round, and that's because the shadow is actually based on his T-pose. It doesn't dynamically update. And so that's something. Let's see. I think there's a way to toggle off that. Yeah. Nope. That wasn't it. There we go. So I think I'm going to push that bug off till later. So, so let's say, what was that one? That was 774. So this is kind of like the chaos I go through as I triage, the last minute things I want to try to get in, and eyes bigger than my stomach kind of stuff that I had signed up for originally. So yeah, so we kind of already have this, but I was talking about something deeper even still than what we're talking about here. This I still need to work on. I do still want to do this maybe. Again, next weekend. Next weekend's like the cutoff. Whatever doesn't get in next weekend isn't getting in, and then I'll be working on just polishing what is already there. But tonight, one of the things I need to finish is, oops, there we go, is, right, the map here. If we turn the cave system back, well, here, let me zoom out, right, all the way out here. Let's show the frame rate, and we'll see it's like 50 frames a second. And if I turn the map off, yeah, we should get up to 60. Yeah. So the map itself is quite expensive now, for whatever reason. If I turn the caves on, it gets super expensive. So we dropped to like 10 or 9 frames a second. Part of that is because even though we're only displaying this part of the map, it's sucking in cave systems. Yeah, there's more than, basically there's much fewer than 4,606 caves on this map, but we're sucking in several sedectiles worth of caves. The other thing is you'll see that no matter how deep we drill in, even though now we're only showing a handful of caves, we still got a really low frame rate. That's because it's still trying to render all of those other caves. And so what I plan to do is, well, I had written it originally to filter, and I just never hooked up the filtering. So that's one of the things we'll do right now, is hook up the filtering. So basically, this number will go up and down as we drill in, because it'll just show essentially what's in the tiles we can see parts of. All right, so yeah, that was so slow it didn't even pick up my escape key the first time. So that's the one we'll concentrate on at the moment. And I'm in the midst of chaos. I fixed a bunch of things related to the object stuff, and so I do still need to go back and finish that dungeon wand thing. It still doesn't... We created the ability to drop the place and remove the object, but I still haven't actually added to the dungeon. So maybe if there's time, we can look at that today. It just takes so long to test that because I have to like go to the end of the dungeon. So I may make a temporary object to jump back and forth. But first, let's do filtering of the map layers, because that's got to happen. I don't feel comfortable on my machine. I don't know how others' machines will work. I don't feel comfortable releasing something that the map already only shows 10 frames a second on my machine, which is not super beefy, but it's bound to be better than some of the people running the game. Okay, so we're in the midst of chaos because I've got like a bajillion files open, because I'm in the middle of just randomly jumping around to different places. So let's go down here. We're in map marker state. Yeah, that's where we go. So we can see it wants to update the filters here based on the current location and radius. And so like this map marker layer, not that one, the marker container. So the entities, we talked before about how an entity is an entity ID with some number of components. And the interesting part about that is, yeah, so here's where I worked out the whole water level. Did I show that? I think I showed that last time, maybe. Guys, remind me if on the last video I showed the water level thing. I can't remember whether I did it last weekend or not. Anyway, oops, let me slide this out of the way. So if you recall, an entity is an entity ID, and then it's got a bunch of, where's my pencil? Yeah, so it's got a bunch of, components attached to it. It may have, tons of different kinds of components attached to it. Maybe some of those are position and some of those are, so let's say this is position. I can't write like this. I should have just typed it. So that's position. This is like model info. So it has a 3D shape in the world, and that means it's going to be a 3D object. And so maybe this is the map marker that says it should show up on the map, and so on. And then what happens is, it has like maybe a dozen different components, but any given part of the code may only be interested in a subset of those, and then only interested in the entities that actually have those. So maybe this one, if it didn't have a map marker, wouldn't show up on the map, but it otherwise, would be a 3D object in the world, etc. That's quite common. So we look up for position and model info for 3D objects in the world, or position and map marker for things on the map, and if they have both of them, they show up in both places, that kind of thing. And so here we're looking for, if it's got a map marker, it's got a name, and it's got a spawn position, that's the position, then we'll put it on the map. But we also want to add some kind of filtering here, and these entity containers already support filters. We just need to set the filter up. And the other thing I'll mention is, the whole world is divided up into tiles, and so we can come up with a unique ID for each one of these tiles. Let's say that these are, the tiles. Based on the location, we can come up with a unique ID here, or a unique ID here, and so on and so forth. So within any tile, we know a 64-bit value that represents that tile position. And that is embedded into both spawn position and the map marker. So that means that when we're querying for map markers, we can actually filter on this tile ID. It's just a convenience put there because it doesn't take up much space. And since we will mostly, 99% of the time, we will be pulling filtered by owner and filtered by tile ID. And so having all those on one component makes it super easy to filter. And that is called tile ID. But so then we need to figure out, and these update filters based on our center and the radius. Where does the center? Center is center ID. So that's the center tile that I'm printing out here, and we can get its position. Get world. So that's its world position, and then we want to essentially in 2D. Let's go ahead and grab the radius too. Is radius ref an int? Nope. It's a double. Okay. So we will do an int radius. We will cast to int math round. Right. No data. Okay, hopefully you guys are still seeing the stream. This thing always bugs me. And so yeah, so center is center world. Vec3i. Our location is center. Add x times 10. Let's do tile ID size, just in case I ever change it. 0, z times tile ID. So then location will be, if we're sitting in this thing, plus or minus whatever our current radius is, we'll tick through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus or minus the radius in all the directions around that thing. And so then we should be able to get the tile ID. Oops. Let's just call it neighbor. Tile ID from world look. And that should compile, I think. Anyway. And so what we want to do is, for each of these IDs, we want to build up a component filter, and I think I have to do several individual. I've done this somewhere else. I'm trying to remember. I think the model view state does this too. Oh, this can't be the right model view state. It's not. Yeah, that's the old Mythruna model view. There we go. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so here's where we're doing something similar, but instead of tiles, we're doing it based on the physics grid. But yeah, we do end up having a separate component filter for each one. Grid filters. Why do I have two? Oh, that's for something else anyway. So yeah, we'll just steal this code for a second. Alright, so just for a sec. Component filter. No, wait. This is an array. Yeah, I should copy more stuff over. Let's just, this way I don't have to go back and forth. So hopefully y'all had a good week. Mine's been a busy week. Component filter. Yeah, see. Yeah, okay. So int size, radius times radius plus 1. Or not radius times radius times 2 plus 1. Ooh, that would have been bad. Okay. So that's all the different filters. Int index equals 0. We do this in here. And we don't want spawn position, we want map marker, and we don't want bin ID, we want tile ID, and we want that to be neighbor.get ID, which should get the long value of that. Okay. And filters dot index plus plus equals filter. Okay. And then that should let us create an OR. And I don't remember what I called my container. Yeah, the map marker container markers. So that's conveniently named. Okay, so this needs to be map marker. Okay, so if it's in basically any of these, if any of these match, then we include it. And if none of them match, then we won't. So that should automatically filter, and then it'll add or remove. Okay, so that should be it, right? Let's see how much drama we have in the debugging tonight. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, I didn't remove this. It was just my cheater. Oh, the other thing is... Okay, no, we're not using X and Y for anything, so we're good. Tile ID, oops. Yeah, that was supposed to be a capital size. What else? Set filter. Maybe I need to add it. Yeah, I need to make it public. So on entity container, normally set filters is a protected method, but you know, in Java we can override it to be public. In fact, for both of these, I should be a good boy and add the override. An override, make it public, and then still call the super. Okay, so let's see if we get further. Those are warnings, because I'm not being typed. Okay, so let's see if it works. if any of you are going to be in the Williamsburg, Virginia area at the beginning of August, let me know, because I'm going down to Williamsburg for that week. And I might be able to say hi. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Well, no, I'm not. I was wrong and not wrong at the same time. Let's see. We think we still have our filters thing set. There we go. So the size, so size is definitely right, but what I did wrong was date filters. This should be size times size. Okay. And just for fun, I just like to know how much space we're taking up for our bookkeeping. Yeah, that's as we get closer to the release, that's something I gotta go and make sure I've tuned all of the logging, because as you see, there's tons of it. Anyway, yeah, first week of August, some of my family and I are going down to Williamsburg. We'll be at Busch Gardens and various other places. So if you have to be in that area and want to meet or something, just let me know. Sometimes I used to wear a Mythruna t-shirt at least one of the days we were at the park in case somebody spotted it and knew what it was. But I don't know if I still have any Mythruna shirts that aren't threadbare at this point. Okay. It's not a good sign. Somebody is unhappy. I think I screwed something up somewhere. Making sure my loop isn't endless here. No, here we go. Negative radius to radius. Here we go. Negative radius to it's all Z, all X. Okay, let's see if the logs have anything interesting. Somebody was unhappy. It's never a good sign. When you load it up. Okay, well first let's grep map marker state. Make sure this isn't logging anything strange. Filter set. Oh my god. Yeah, so that's big. That's yeah. So the math is all screwed up. Yeah. I know what I did wrong. So in this radius, yeah, we want to. So this is a radius in world space. So like, you know, for each one of these tiles, that's 1024 meters. So 5 tiles, what, 60 big, and so yeah. So what happens is this should be divided by, because we want like the number of tiles, not the actual world distance. So that's what this will do. So this, so like, like if the radius was 2, this would have been 2048 or more, and so yeah, that's way wrong. Okay, so ooh, we got an error. YouTube is not right. Okay, it's still working. So oops. Okay, I'm glad I printed that size out. So that was an instant clue. Sometimes you just get these gut feelings, the spider sense, the spidey sense. Like, I should print that out. I made the mistake once. I should log that. Let's see. Is that all of the drama for this particular issue? Yeah, because that's the other thing. Part of the map keeps itself updated as we move, even if we're not looking at it. Okay, so I can at least move around now. That's a good sign. Let's go ahead and see what our frame rate is. Yeah, that's not necessarily wrong. Yeah, it's just things we're still loading in. Yeah. Okay, so we load the map, not that. Load the map up. Okay, so we still got all those things. Yeah, see, much better. We are only showing 874, which is all of them within like the tiles that we can see the edge of. So as we drill in, yeah, still like 19 frames a second. That's just because it's a lot of data. I will eventually leave this off by default. So I mentioned this in the Discord. By the way, link up at the top left here if you want to try to download it if you didn't already know that on this live stream. That's where you can download the release I had in January, and there's also if you go to that page, there's a Discord link. I was talking about in the Discord how, eventually, like, obviously this wouldn't be populated like this. If you wanted to find a cave entrance, you'd either have to visit there or have some knowledge based on talking to somebody or whatever, and those would be the only ones that would show up on your map, or you'd buy a map. Somehow you'd get that lore that's there. So normally the map would look like this, except for the caves you discovered and found out their names and so on. That's interesting. This was, yeah, so this is, there's a bug somewhere. We probably initially calculated the radius wrong, so there's 1868 here. As we drill in and lose tiles, oh no, I bet update filters, yeah, so the array size is getting smaller, but we're not updating this. So somebody is seeing the adds and not the removes. Yeah, so our array size should be super small right now. Yeah, and it gets bigger and bigger each time I do it. Yeah, so something's getting added and not removed, right? That's what's happening. So we go in, yeah, so it keeps getting bigger every time we zoom out. Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and look at the state. Always something. Okay, so that where does that number come from? Calculate that number based on, is it the marker container itself? So okay, so there's this layer where we keep a label, the checkbox, and we set that value to the list size. So this list size. So this list size, every time a icon or marker is added, one is added, one is removed, and so probably nobody's calling remove marker. Except they are right there. Oh, but not when we, because that's if we're switching layers. We never call it when we're just releasing this guy. Yeah. Okay. So steal this. Yeah, Yep, so if type is not equal, so we try to get the layer, and then if we get a layer, we remove ourselves. Okay, so that should fix that problem. Will we get to actually mark a bug or mark a task off in a live stream? I think that's a unique occurrence. I think I did show you guys the water last time, right? Play. I need to get this screenshot ability back in so I can add some more. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know that, but that splash screen when you load up, that was just a screenshot using the hand-drawn, quote-unquote, filter that I wrote for old Mythruna. Okay, so map. On the map, so 874. Let's see, what do we got? 874, we should zoom in, it gets smaller. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now we've, between the 9 tiles that we kind of can partially see. Oh, you know what, that would be interesting is if we calculated, so we're loading tiles we don't need because we're calculating plus or minus the radius based on this location and not this location. Anyway, so it went down to 38 and frames went up and then come back out and we get back up. So, but now it's, you can see them loading in as we go too. So if we come out really fast, you can kind of see them loading in around the edge. That's kind of cool. Okay, so still 874, we're good. So that's all working. I think I don't like how I'm calculating the tiles. Maybe. The thing is, maybe it's okay. Because we would still need it right up to here. Yeah. I think that's going to have to be okay. Incidentally, these the stronghold bubbles are actually bigger or smaller based on how much space that. So I have mine maxed out at the full 1024 square meters. You know, 32 by 32 is the typical size, but mine's I think 40 by something. Anyway, and that's why it's bigger than this one because the spawn tower would only be 10 by 10 or something. So when we have towns, I may have to filter this so those don't get too huge, but they would be bigger dots from back here for sure. Okay, so that's basically done. And what did I say is the thing? Oh yeah, I think it's probably fine. Okay, so let's mark that one off as done and see it'll change color. Doink. Ta-da. And if we go over here, refresh, now we have fewer things in the list. Things that are easy to do in a live stream. Well, I mean, there's time we could finish the dungeon thing that we were working on last time. I also did figure out why live updates of actions wasn't working, but I think that we're too deep into the too deep into the way the dungeon wand is set up to try to do that, but maybe not. Let's take a look. So the dungeon wand, so when you make a dungeon now, it puts the map marker on. I think we showed that last time. What we want to do, first of all, what we want to do is keep track of the last level. So we do keep track of the last level. So for each level, we do a custom generator set it up, generate the world, you know, the rooms, all that stuff I dealt with in a previous live stream. But that means when we're all done, other half of this method, is it control enter? No. There we go. Okay, so right after here, let's see, bottom level would be levels. Well, what is levels? Okay, so levels is an array. -1. So that's the last level. Actually, in Groovy, you can just say that levels -1. So that's the bottom level. And what we want to do is when trying to think how best to explain this. Wish I had a dungeon map up, but well, from wherever our start points are, the stairs down into that level, we want to count like how far away everything is, which is something that the Dungeon API stuff is already doing. I just have to remember where it does that, because we want to find the farthest room from all of the entrances, and that should be discoverable. See the generator. So we keep a bunch of bookkeeping in here. Yeah, so pass from any room to the nearest entrance room. And so that should, and then a path has a length. So for any different room, from any room, we know it's shortest path to the entrance, basically, this path index. So we ought to be able to find the longest one. Let's put this in a true. It's easier for scope and easier to comment out later if I can just change that to false. So max equals 0. Yeah. Bottom dot path index dot entry set dot each. So entry and so max room. Oop, not just object. No. So we're going to go through each of those entries in that map, and if the path length is greater than max, then we set max equal to that, and max room equal to entry dot key. Oh yeah. Entry dot value dot length, because so map entry has get key, get value. Since this is a map, so each of those would have, this is the key, this is the value. So value dot length is this value, which should be the length to the start, the closest start, and so that should give us the and for now, what I think I'll do is, how do I get the location of the room like that? So what we'll do is, rather than do any kind of weird object stuff, last room and then max room loc alt 2. Oh, we need to, yeah, okay. If max room equals null, echo failed to find ending room. Otherwise, let's do this. Find the center of the room. We do that by taking the location of the room, which is in like half space, because rooms are built out of 2x2 blocks, you know. And then where did base come from? Base. So what I do is I come down here to where we were, because I'm not using a fancy IDE. So we go here and we go back, we search backwards. See what scope, oh, there it was. So that's inside the levels. Where does offset come from? Sorry, I'm reading and not talking. Offset, starter room location times 2. Okay, so offset is built in. We have that in the whole scope. And so here, yeah, we ought to be able to steal this and take it down. Loc, add offset. Location is where we clicked, I believe. Way up here, way up here. Locate is where we clicked, yes. Okay, so we'll be able to come down here. Base is the sort of place where the lower left corner of our dungeon, basically. And so then we calculate the room's location in the dungeon, and then we find the center of the room based on that. And so then here we will log that position, because when we generate a dungeon it should log that position, and then we can teleport there to see if it's really the right room before we start adding all kinds of weird crap to it. And I may make that like its own object so that we can find it. Actually, I will be making it its own object because that's where we're going to stick the thing. But okay, how far can we get in 15 minutes? Okay, and I know from experience we want to be facing east. Which way is that? Let's see. Oh, this is east. Okay, and we want to make sure we're in a position where it doesn't come shooting out the back of the mountain. So this is where I did it before in this world. Yeah, we're barely keeping up with the... Okay, so this seems like a reasonable place to plant a dungeon. Switch to the real dungeon test generator thing. And right here. Why not? Yeah, something failed. Didn't actually echo our... make sure that we didn't get like some big exception sometime back. Maybe you guys saw it fly by. Here it is. No such property path. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I can't remember whether the dungeon generator. Anyway, stupid typo, and this is the problem with the scripts. Is I didn't carry that fix over to that, so let's just double check. Entry.value, entry.value, entry.key. That should be good. And let's hook back up the left key. Left click to delete all the objects. Yep, oh, it already is set up to do that. Cool. All right. Let's try again. Try again. Okay. So, one of the problems with fix our entrance a little bit here. Row. Somebody generating still? What's the deal, yo? There we go. Huh. That was weird. Give us a place to stand, right? Okay. So the dungeon wand, this test dungeon wand is set up to be able to remove the old dungeon. If I left click, it gets rid of all the objects in it. Otherwise, we end up with duplicates of all the torches and campfire object and grates and things. So then if we click here, yeah, deleted a lot of objects, right? Sconces, grates, map boards from all the different exits, the chests, and so on. And so now if we right click here again, it will regenerate the dungeon, put all the objects back, and we still did not get our poop. So we failed on some other level. Yeah, all those sounds. Okay, so we did something else here. Error running action place. No such property. And unfortunately, like even fancy. Well, I mean, it's possible that if we were using IntelliJ or something, I could write plugins for the scripting language that would be smart enough to know these things, but because it's so dynamic, it doesn't really. So here we have like max room, and so all these places where we're saying room should have been max room. It's just painful. And what I could do, so here is something that might let us have some quicker iteration. If I add an action, what do we want to call the last place end, right? Ooh. Okay, so what do we want to call, what do we want to say? Let's give it the path and the room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this action here that does, so we'll use this to find the action, and then once we've found it, we'll call this other method, or this other action. Because that'll let me override it in a live script. And so from here, what do we do? Run action. I think just run action, right? We do it all over the place, one of these. No. Run. 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 Yeah, okay. And we don't need to give it anything else. We can just say run, place end, and we can give it the, we didn't keep track of the path. Tree dot value. Yeah, that's right. So takes max room and max path. That's just for max path. And we will add last room distance max path length. Okay. So basically we did find the room, then we run this other action called place end, and that'll let us override this action at runtime if we want to. In fact, I'm going to log error failed to place, and just in case, maybe we can save ourselves some. Anyway, all right, let's see how far we get. But now we'll be able to iterate at runtime without having to shut down and reload, presuming I don't do syntax errors, because that always kills the reloader. Something I haven't figured out how to fix yet, because it's like basically modules, you tell the module to initialize, it runs its scripts, and when those scripts fail, it's not initialized, but then so it stops watching. And there's not really another way to do it, because if it failed to initialize, I can't pretend it was initialized. Anyway, it's a semantic problem. Okay, so I think I'm still holding the dungeon wand in my hand. Yep. Okay, so I should be able to left click and get rid of all those things. And then I should be able to right click. Yeah, look at all that logging. All the things it's removing. Let's let the logging finish for a second. Okay, I should be able to right click and generate the dungeon again. Creating chests, creating. Come on. Oh, it still failed. Crap. But why did it fail? Where did it fail? Probably I forgot to change some reference over. Okay, so no such property loc. Of course. Yeah, so that's not a... So we want to poop. So we don't have the context to calculate the room's location in this. So we're going to have to assume it found one. Let's see. So let's just say def v equals null if max room not equal to null. And we'll send the location through. And so that's loc. And loc is What's the room location? Aha. Okay, so okay, try again. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. If this works, that it tells us the right location, we should be able to just teleport there, but I can also then mark my current location to teleport back. Ooh, hello. Alright, well, at least we didn't have to wait so long. Okay, so yeah, I reordered. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Try again. If at first we don't succeed. There's a certain amount of, like, after that 2-hour live stream, you know, certain amount of closure I think that we can all have if I manage to get this working in this live stream without having to go to 2 hours. Because once we get the location, it's not that big a deal to do the next part. So we can just cut and paste from that other. Well, first, well, actually, you get the idea that we could place that other object. I'll put some fancy lights or something down so that we know that we really found it. But okay, so left click first to erase all the old objects. Okay, then right click to place the new dungeon. And last room, yay! Found the last room. Okay, so first, what we'll do is we'll mark entrance. Okay, and then we will move our view so that we can, and so it's apparently 7. Let's see if we can drag this guy out and see where we think, oh, hello. Let's fall off the ledge. Okay, so these black areas are the entrances, and wherever it put us is 7 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's interesting? So it's going to be somewhere over here, probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's one way to get there for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I bet that's the room right there. Okay, oops, I fell off the ledge again. I should have made a wider thing. Okay, so fortunately we remember where we were. What's happening? Hey, Lando. Okay, so let's warp to 190.0770 521.5. Let's do 522 just in case. We don't want to be minus 16126. Did I get that right? 190. So let's see. Let's see where it takes us. Blink. Did I put the thing in right? I did. Why is it? Oh, did it put us? Okay, so apparently it ignored my. It either ignored my Y location or we ended up in solid rock. So for the moment, yeah, I still haven't fixed that one bug that causes it to hang as we're falling. So yeah, in fact, I'm not even on the same place. I did something wrong. Right, we're not even anywhere near where we were. So either I entered the value in wrong. Yes, we're like way, way, way far away. I don't even know where the spawn is anymore. Alright, so I did something wrong. Either the location that we passed is not right, or I put it in wrong. 19077, 19. Oh, I added an extra 0. Minus 19077. 522. Let's give a 523 just in case. Minus 16126. So what I was looking at, you guys can't see where I'm pointing, but the dungeon itself was created at 19147, so and 16143, so that's fine. And so the last room is 19077, which is within that range. And so then I knew that it was me. It was my fat fingers that put us in the wrong place. So let's try this. Okay, so that should put us in... Oh, except for the... Okay, so yeah, I gotta start... yeah. So it did put us inside the dirt. So we can see the dungeon from the outside. And I think I was right about that room that it was going to put us in. Yep, I was totally right. I predicted it. Okay, so... oh, nice. I'm stuck in the grate. There we go. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Low ceiling in this room, man. Check that out. I just feel like it makes dungeons feel claustrophobic if you have some of them with these low ceilings, but it means you can't really jump. Okay, so that did put us exactly where I expected. In fact, it put us inside the thing. 528 though. So like my the Y value is like completely off. By quite a bit, actually. OSHA violation, yeah. But one thing we can do now is we should be able to... Well, okay, so... Yeah, So I'm going to mark this as the end, okay? And that's 528. I'm wondering where that extra... I wish I could move the mouse cursor while I have this view up, but you can see that it told me the last room was at 521.5 Y value, minus 19077, 521.5. So that's basically, I think, where it was going to put that light in the middle, which should be just like one below us, but that's 7 off from where we actually are. So there's a miscalculation. I wish I could turn that off. Okay, so we'll do this, no, what do we want? We'll cheat, we'll use this. Apparently you can pull up the temporary black palette even if you've got the, so we'll move this over here. Let's double check. Offset base, probably something was, let's see, we're too low, not too high. Why are we adding... Where did I get this value? I got it from... Oh, where I'm placing the map. Yeah, that's not right. Wait, is that for the exit? Create a map for each level in its entrance room. So that is inside the dungeon. So we're fine there. It's the room. Oh, we're placing it kind of off to the side. But yeah, because room size is in the middle because it's half the size. But why is our Y value wrong? Because these are clearly right. It's placing these in the right place. what do we want to look at? So let's real quickly double check that I can override this. And what we want to do then is show our marks. This should be entrance warp pound entrance boink. Should take us back to outside where we were. Yep. Okay. Cool. We can lock the time of day so that we don't get confused. And I think I'm still got this stuff equipped. Get rid of all the current objects. Okay. So let's do E. Yeah, okay, cool. E still works. By the way, that's a trick. If you guys want to take screenshots where there's like nothing on there, not even the little center bubble, first of all, you go in here and you can turn off the debug HUD. That gets rid of everything except for that center bubble. And then if you hit if you have any tool selected other than the block wand, if you hit E to bring up the block palette, it takes the bubble away and you can get like a clean screenshot with nothing on it, which is kind of cool. Just so you're aware. Eventually there'll be a photo mode, which of course lets you change settings and also get rid of all that stuff too. But for now, that's a convenient way, and it gives you your mouse back if you need to get in and out. So let's place end on dungeon wand. Where's it? Dungeon generator. Okay. So let me go back to our custom server commands, and we want to somewhere. I had an example of this already where I tested this. Here we go. So we want this with, whoops, blank. So we'll go and steal that action. For the moment, I'm just going to come on, come on. There we go. So we should be able to override that action in here like this. And what should I do? Let's say we already know we were off by... Oh, that's cool. Now I have my mouse. Yeah, so now I can point to things. So, it told us that the room was at 521, but when we actually went there, we were at 528. Which is full, 6.5 more. So for the time being, I'm going to hard code room loc y to 528 just to fix that problem. And then we'll do world set cell room loc. I think 1 is the bad block type. And I put these exclamation points in here so we could be sure that our version was being called. So I think if I do this, okay, so it reloaded that script for us. So if I come out of here, I should be able to right click here. We see a new dungeon get generated. And we should see our exclamation. Yep, look at that. Cool. So what I'm talking about here is we saw our exclamation points, which means it ran our new code that overrode that. So it means that we can change this live update while we got it. Okay, so what we want to do now, let's turn this off. We want to go warp pound end. And so we should see, yeah, so something not right. Maybe it actually threw an error and I just didn't see it. Let's see. Yep. Nope. Something else. Here we go. Missing method exception. No signature of method set cell. Oh yeah, set world cell. And did that mess us up? Will it reload? It's still reloaded. Okay, so we ought to be able to now warp pound entrance, hash entrance if you prefer. Okay, get rid of the map. Oops. And left click to get rid of all of our objects. Blink. Right click to get the database back. Okay, so it ran our code. And then we should be able to say warp end. Oops, pound end. I need to probably make that so that it's a little smarter than that. Yay! Yep, put the error block. So definitely we're doing something right. I think this is where I'll end it. We're like 12 minutes over. And you guys can see if I just basically if I cut and paste, I figure out where my 7 unit discrepancy comes from first of all. But from last time where we did that, we had that test object that I made, the the drop test that would do the place, and then you could take it again. And so basically I just need to cut and paste this code and put it back in. Basically cut and paste this into this place so that when we generate the dungeon we place it there, and then move the take to here too, and that hooks it all up. But I don't want to debug that 7 unit discrepancy, which I do have to find. I have to figure out what's wrong with that, and that's going to be tedious stopping and starting the tool. There's no way I can do auto reload on that. So anyway, we're getting pretty close to that. Do you guys have any questions before I call it for the night? Again, I want to remind you that the next live stream is probably going to be on Thursday because I'm busy again Friday, and I don't know that I'll have time on Saturday or Sunday. I know I won't have time on Saturday. I don't think I'll have time on Sunday either. So I think we'll do one on Thursday, and then the following week we'll resume our normal schedule until I go on vacation. Then I'll miss another week. But so there's our dungeon. Hopefully you guys stuck around. I think there's still 4 of you on. And so we got a little dungeon thing, and so we ended up on the bottom level. Our cool little flamey grate things. Boy, the lighting does weird things to there. That's cool. Hopefully you guys had a good time, and I hope you have a productive week. I hope I have a productive week as we get closer to some kind of release where you guys will get to play with this stuff. Hopefully you guys are excited. Alrighty. I'm going to go exit out of here. We'll get the thanks going. Yep, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever improves engagement on the YouTubes, feed the algorithm, etc. Share with your friends, and for those of you who still contribute to my project, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we can get some bigger numbers here soon. But thanks again, and I will catch you on the next one or on Discord. See you.